In our digital information age, where we are capturing all kinds of data, if there's one thing that we are almost all using every day, and that's going to be application software. And that's going to be the focus of this discussion today. Now, there are two kinds of software. We look at system software and application software. Now, system software works with us as end users, as well as it works with the application software. And of course, it has to interact with the computer hardware to be able to handle the majority of technical details. Now, when it comes to application software, this is that end user software that we're using, and it's used to accomplish a variety of tasks in our lives. This application software is going to be divided into three main categories: mobile apps, general purpose applications, and specialized applications. With the mobile apps, these are the most popular of our three categories of application software. These are the applications that are designed for our cell phones and our tablets. Now, general purpose applications, these are widely used in nearly every discipline and occupation. This can include things like word processors, spreadsheets, presentation software, and database management system. And then with specialized applications, here we're looking at very narrowly focused programs that are used in very specific disciplines and occupations. An example of this is with graphics and video editors and imaging editor programs, illustration programs, and of course desktop publishing programs. Now, video editors are used to edit those videos that we create to be able to enhance quality and appearance of those videos. We can add like special effects, music tracks, using layering, and we can even include some on-screen graphics. And more and more you're starting to see augmented reality used with a lot of video editing. Now, image editors are also known as photo editors, and they're specialized graphics programs for editing or modifying our digital photographs. Illustration programs are also known as drawing programs, and they're used to create and be able to edit vector images. Now, while bitmap images use pixels to represent images, vector images, also known as vector illustrations, use geometric shapes or objects. Now, desktop publishing programs or page layout programs are those graphic design tools that are used by artists to be able to create online and be able to print content. These tools are going to focus on the professional display of graphics and text in a print or online format. Another one I want to talk about is 3D modeling programs with specialized applications. These are programs that allow an artist to be able to create and manipulate 3D objects that are drawn on our computing devices. These programs are used to create animated films and TV, video games, and of course magazines and book illustrations. Video game design software allows individuals to be able to create their own video games. This software is going to help organize their thoughts and guide them through the game design process, including character development and environmental design. Now, creating a site is called web authoring. It begins with site design, followed by creation of a document file that displays the website's content. Web authoring programs are typically used to create sophisticated commercial sites. Also known as page editors and HTML editors, these programs are going to provide support for website design and HTML. Now, there are numerous other specialized applications, including accounting, personal finance, and project management applications, but this is a good start for understanding this area. Now, where do we find all these applications that we want to use? Well, of course, that's what's known as an app store, and this is where you can download applications to work with on your mobile device, your laptop, and even your desktop devices. There's a few out there. There's Apple's App Store, Google Play Store, Microsoft Store. These are the big ones, but more times than not, you're going to be looking at Apple's App Store or the Google Play Store. Most mobile devices will download and install in one step from the App Store. However, many applications for laptops or desktops require a two-step process of first downloading the application from the App Store and then installing the application by running the downloaded file, typically going to be an executable file. And these programs are going to be written for a very specific device. Now, there are over 3.5 million mobile apps on the Google Play Store alone. Some of the most widely used are going to include social networking, gaming, and of course video apps. Now we come up to the user interface. Now the user interface is that portion of an application that allows us to control and to interact with our program. Almost all applications use a graphical user interface known as a GUI, graphical user interface. And this is going to display the graphical elements called icons to represent familiar objects, and of course we're usually going to use a mouse or finger gestures for using this user interface. Many applications, like you've probably got some experience with, like as an example Microsoft Excel, these use an interface known as the ribbon, and this is a ribbon GUI. This changes based on the needs of the user. This is a portion of the application that allows us to control and interact with the program, whether it's on a mobile device or desktop computer. We need that user interface to give us the ability to work with our application. When it comes to our menus that we typically see on our user interface for an application, these are typically going to be in a menu bar at the top of our screen. Other things we can see in our applications, especially in Windows, we might see toolbars, dialog boxes, ribbons, tabs, galleries, little things like that. And once we are accustomed to what a user interface is composed of, we can pretty much move from application to application and understand a user interface. While there may be some slight varieties, some things we are used to may not be there. It depends on the application. Now we move on to talking about mobile applications. Sometimes you'll just hear them called mobile apps. These are add-on features for a variety of mobile devices, including our smartphones and tablets. Many standard apps are included free with a mobile operating system, including things like email applications, to-do lists, calendar applications, alarm and timer applications, and messaging and phone call apps. Some of the most widely used apps are going to be music, they're going to be for video, they're going to be for social networking or shopping, and of course games. Music apps like Spotify stream music, organize our playlists of songs, and recommend new artists to us. Video apps like YouTube are a favorite way to watch movie trailers and video blogs. Social networking apps like Facebook allow you to use your mobile device to share vacation photos, check in at your favorite places like coffee shops, or be able to invite friends to a party. Shopping apps like Amazon make shopping online quick and easy. Gaming apps are plenty, and they are just an enjoyable way to pass time on your mobile application or your mobile device. We also have general purpose applications. These are widely used in nearly every discipline and occupation. They include things like word processors, spreadsheets, database management systems, and presentation software. Specialized applications are more narrowly focused on specific disciplines and occupations. Now just to look at some of these a little bit more specifically, word processors create text-based documents and are one of the most flexible and widely used software tools. All types of people and organizations use word processors to be able to create things like memos, letters, and other forms of communication. Organizations create newsletters, manuals, and brochures to be able to provide information to their customers and employees. As students and researchers, we may use word processors to create reports. Word processors can even be used to create personalized web pages. And of course, some examples of these word processors are going to be like Microsoft Word, Apple Pages, or Google Docs. Another one I talked about was spreadsheets. Spreadsheets organize, analyze, and graph numeric data such as our personal budgets and financial reports. Once used exclusively by accountants, spreadsheets are widely used by nearly every profession out there. Marketing professionals analyze sales trends. Now, for our financial analysts, they look at evaluating and graphing stock market trends. As a student, you may record your grades or look at your grades and calculate your GPAs or grade point averages. Now, there are some common spreadsheet software out there, like obviously the most widely used spreadsheet program, Microsoft Excel. Another popular program is going to be that of Apple Numbers, and in the Google Suite or G Suite, we have Google Sheets. Now let's talk a little bit about database. A database is just a collection of related data. It is the electronic equivalent of a file cabinet. Now, a database management system or database manager is a program that sets up or structures a database. It also provides tools to enter, edit, and retrieve data from that database. All kinds of individuals use databases, from hospital administrators recording such information as patient information to police officers checking on criminal history. Colleges and universities, well, they use databases to keep records on their students, their instructors, and their courses, and that information is going to be in a related database management system, an RDBMS. Because the data is all related, we just separate it out into separate entities, but we make sure that they're related so we can join the data very easily. And of course, another popular example of these databases is organizations of all types use these to maintain their employee database to understand their employees, where they're at, how many they have, if there's openings, what their skills are, all kinds of things we can do with employee data. Now, when it comes to these databases, there are all kinds, of course, but some of the most common ones are going to be like Microsoft Access as a desktop database management system, Apple FileMaker, and Oracle Database Express Edition, which is free. There are much larger database systems that are used, but I just want to give you a few examples. And then we have presentation software. These are programs that combine a variety of visual objects to be able to create really attractive, visually interesting presentations. And they're excellent tools to communicate a message, to be able to persuade people, or to just educate them on information. Now, we have all kinds of different presentation software. Microsoft PowerPoint, very common one. Apple Keynote, Google Slides, just to name a few. So as you can see here on the screen, when we combine a lot of these together, and of course I've got more on here that I'm not talking about, but when we combine a bunch of these together, this is called a software suite. It's just a collection of separate application programs that are bundled together and made available as a group. Typically, like with Microsoft Office, we call these Office suites. And with Google, as I mentioned earlier, there's just called the G Suite or Google Suite.